Well, so you are a king then. And Jesus answered, you say correctly that I am a king. For this I have been born, and for this I have come into the world to testify to the truth. Everyone who is of the truth hears my voice. So Pilate is thinking about what Jesus has said. And he's saying, so you have a kingdom. And if you have a kingdom, then you must be a king. Is that correct? And Jesus responds, it is as you say. And again, we must understand that Jesus and his kingdom and his kingship is unique. It's different. It's not about power or domination or ruling or dictating. It's about truth. Note what he says. It's about truth. I have come to the world to testify to the truth. Now, truth is one of the unique features of the kingdom of God. And you might be saying, well, what is truth? Pilate's going to ask that same question in a moment, but let me address it right now. See, as you think about truth, again, there's a number of different ways to define truth, but in this context, truth really refers to divine power and revelation of God. Let me repeat that. Truth is the divine power and revelation of God, which is opposite of anything that is non-divine or untruth. And so when we think about truth, Jesus is what? The divine revelation of God in human form. We see that way back at the very first chapter of John. John, the gospel writer, reveals to us who Jesus is. And in John chapter 1, verse 14, it states this, and the word, speaking of Jesus, became flesh and dwelt among us, and we saw his glory. So remember, Jesus is divine. He is eternal. He has always been. And so he was God, but then he took on human flesh. And so that's what John is indicating here, that the word became flesh. And then what? Dwelt among humanity. And as Jesus dwelt among humanity, he revealed who he was. And more importantly, he revealed who God is so that humanity could see the glory of God. And so John is stating this. Listen, Jesus, who is divine, he is God, became flesh, dwelt among us, and we have had the opportunity to see from the Father the grace and truth of God. Later on in John chapter 14, remember what Jesus stated about himself. He says, I am what? The way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father but through me. The only way that you can experience this divine revelation, this divine power, is through me, coming to me in faith and obedience. And so humanity has the opportunity to encounter truth when we decide to surrender to God in obedient faith and realize that the only way that we can live and exist is by divine reality. And so that is the truth that Jesus is speaking of. That's why he's saying, I have come so that you might be able to understand what it is when it comes to truth. I testify of it. And here's the thing, and everyone who is of truth hears my voice. In essence, they are willing to be obedient and fall under me, to submit their lives unto me so that they might be able to live in God's divine truth.